G or no G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Rooms is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and J25, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have a great show for you guys today. We are live. Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We thank you guys so much for joining us. We see you guys pile in, and we appreciate it. Every single day seems to be more and more, and you guys seem to be liking it. We're enjoying doing it, so we're going to continue to do it. So we have a different show today. Yago B is doing some personal things. So I asked my good friend J25 from the Ordinal Support Desk from the Orange Cubicle to join me. And Jay is one of the most knowledgeable people in the space. He's a tech guy. He really pays attention to what's going on. And I think he's the perfect person to have on today. So I'm actually really excited to get into that. So let's start the show. Let me bring in my partners today, Mr. J25. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me, dude. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So let's kind of get into your background a little bit. You have your own podcast called The Orange Cubicle. We were actually guests on that, and it was actually a great time. It was like hanging out with friends. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about like The Orange Cubicle?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming. So we met a lot of people through the base chat and spaces over the last year. And then it turned into the Ordinal Support Desk, which really was kind of like a WeWork style digital space where we just come together, show each other what we could call alpha information, whatever you want to take it as, and just make our takes, make picks, whatever you want to do. And then it turned into what we are doing now with video content around Orange Cubicle. So once again, it's really just us talking to each other about what's going on in the Ordinals market, Bitcoin, sometimes veering here, left, right, everywhere. But yeah, we just want to have a place where we can discuss what we want to think in an open and free format. And a lot like Ordinal Revolution, you guys have definitely been a model for us to build around. And we really appreciate you guys coming to hang out whenever you do, having me here.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's actually really good for the space. I think we need a lot of people like you, and I've said this before, but like, you know, there's gonna be a lot of grifters coming in who are gonna come in and not really know much about ordinals, but they're gonna put together fake shows pretending they actually know what's going on to kind of lead people in the direction of their bags, right? So having you guys with Support Desk and everything you guys do, which is absolutely amazing, 24-hour, you have people in there all the time coming in. You guys help them out, walk them through things. I mean, you helped unclog Yagobi's golden toilet, right? So you guys so you guys really helped the everything's going on. So for you guys to have a podcast, I was excited for it because I don't see you guys as a competition. I see us all like as a big network, and kind of like helping each other and networking, which is amazing. And I think that because I mean, we're small, or like not Ordinal Revolution, but the entire Ordinal community in general,
Whole
we're tiny
space.
compared to exactly. So it's really awesome, guys. Check out, or I'm gonna have the link in the bio, so definitely check that out. Check out Orange Cubicle. We guys like once a week, twice a week.
Yeah, we're trying to do once a week. We're going to try to do some more short form content, just mixing it up, kind of like you guys have done for the last year, and just have fun with it. We were just talking before the show. We're planning on being in New York, so if you're going to be there, hit me up in the DMs, and hopefully hanging out with Shizzy. Cramerica TV's from New York. We know a few other cats that are going to be there, so it should be a fun time.
Hell yeah, it should be great. Let's get this show started. We're going to talk about the King real quick. Let me bring up this chart. If I can get this thing going, present my screen. All right. So we've been on a tear, man, an absolute tear lately. We hit up here. We got some resistance up here at around 70,000. I was looking at this, and it really, really, really reminds me of this right here, right? So we went up here. We kind of broke the 20K or the all-time high, which was like 19.6 or something, and we kind of went back down. We went all the way back down to about 16, came up, retested it. So this right here looks a lot
very wiki
like
candles.
looks a lot like what we have going on right here, right? So like, do you see basically? So if I'm right, it's going to be this is a one weekly here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 straight weeks of God candles. Is that something that we
Pop
can
up
expect
to a new level, and then retest?
Because if that's the case, we could see what 90,000,
Testing
right?
that 6-figure, maybe, and that's what everybody's been
Something.
talking about for a while, or at least making the first steps towards it.
Yeah, man. So what is your prediction for the next couple months? Do you see like I know Block's been going around saying that he's expecting a little bit of pullback and stuff like that, but I just don't see that. I'm actually getting very liquid for a different reason than Block. I'm getting liquid to kind of play rooms and play the Merlin slot game, really, right? To play the gambling stuff that's going on over there. What do you see happening in the next couple weeks?
For sure, and I'm not a huge price target person or anything like that. So just long term, I'm definitely bullish on Bitcoin. I think it is, the number go up machine, finite supply, more energy used to create it, etc. But over the short term, I think it is interesting with having ordinals and all the on-chain activity, and this price before halving is just out of cycle, and that's one thing Block definitely talks about is we just seem out of cycle. So could that mean a correction? Maybe, but it really does seem like we're kind of full steam ahead with runes launching right around the halving. Maybe that is maybe the blow off top one, and a month after that, we do see a pullback because there is just so much liquidity that comes into the space, and we need a breather over the summer. We kind of saw this last year too, where it was like full speed ahead with BRC20s first launching, Ordinals projects getting some hype, this and that, and then the summertime just kind of went real flat. And then it took, that's mint, shout out to Goose Nose Honk Honk, us coming around, and many other just free and fun activities. Bitmap's really planting its flag at that time. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm maybe looking forward to, but I don't think it's going to be, this gloom and doom down to like 15K or something. Maybe we see a scam wick into the 30s or something, but I think going down to 50 with how you're showing this chart, it's been almost straight up for like 18 months. You've been saying it's a bear market, it's a bear market. And if you look at the chart, it's really hard to see that, right, overall. I mean, I know there's been some leveling and things like that you're pointing out right now, but if you take that whole chart and put it into the monthly, it's even more straight up. So I'm okay with the pullback. I'm definitely a long-term player in this game, and see, I mean, like look at that. It's just kind of retesting all-time highs almost straight up through candles. So to have a month or two on this wider time frame could make sense over the summer. So I am just being ready for that. I'm keeping my long-term bag steady. Obviously, we all have some locked up in Merlin Seal or other L2s that are launching, so that'll be interesting. Hopefully, Unisat with the swap system keeps moving forward. But I just think that there's going to be a lot of activity, hopefully liquidity opening up around the halving, whether it's runes, these L2s, other plays. So I think it will be a lot of activity. And then can it keep that momentum, throughout the whole summer this time?
So you kind of see something like on the range of like TradFi with the sell and May go away type of thing?
I mean, I think if we can get at least the L2s to do more DeFi activities, and that seems like that's going to be the big place for them for the time being, I think that Unisat, the module system, and what like the open index system that Domo and everybody else is trying to cook up with a layer one foundation has long-term viability, but is that in a month? Probably not. If we could get the simple swap module to white module by the halving, I think that'd be a huge win for everybody to free up those assets and get that model on chain working. But we see Liquidium. Liquidium is actually using L1 assets, locking them up in DLCs. But it's like atomic swaps. You need a buyer and a seller, a lender and a borrower to link up on one initial thing, and then it's back and forth, back and forth. So it's just herky jerky. There's only like 1,500 people using it in this entire space. Like we just said, it is kind of
Yeah.
small at the end of the day. So if we could even get a portion of people from centralized exchanges, a portion of people from Ethereum, Solana, whatever chain they may be using, to start being on like Bitcoin and actually doing DeFi, I think that could be a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Liquidium's what is the top DApp, right? There's really no other DApp that's actual. I guess can you call it a DApp?
I mean, yeah, it's doing an application with programmatic language on Bitcoin. It's just very simple language. So
Okay.
yeah, I guess you could call it a DApp. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess would you call that the number one DApp in the space?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's other ones trying to make plays like Ord Swap, Ord Swap, a couple other ones, but I don't know how much liquidity is really flowing through there. They're interesting ideas. Hopefully, they get built out more and compound. But I think everybody really is going to take the lead of this programmatic module with fractal Bitcoin and maybe a 1.5 layer. But it's more of a longer
Yeah.
term thing. And we mentioned a little bit earlier in the on the Ordinal Support Desk, but like Merlin might see some competition there over the long term, but I don't think it can ever be like the gaming competition graphics wise that you see on an L2, right? Because they just have so much more freedom to put data on chain, whereas L1 is always going to be at least more complicated, more time consuming, more cost consuming.
When you say competing with Merlin, do you mean by like volume, or do you mean by like projects that are building?
I mean overall by volume, I would
Okay.
say, just because eventually, like if I can go to Unisat's 1.5 system and it's like interacting directly with the chain in more aspects than Merlin chain is, right, where it's going to be a ZK rollup or whatever style that turns into over the longer term to be more and more decentralized. If you can use Liquidium and actually be on chain and using the programmatic language of Bitcoin, that's a lot better than being on Merlin chain, in my opinion, right? But Merlin chain has the option of having liquidity pools, smart contracts, right? Things that
Yeah.
Stacks and Alex have offered for a while too, but have their own, holdbacks and things that are continuing to be worked on. Hopefully, the Nakamoto upgrade, brings them forward and a good competitor to Merlin, because right now they do have the speed, but we've seen with like the Particle Wallet having its issue with the account abstraction. So everybody that's building is going through the growing pains, and that's good. There's going to be this ebb and flow. I think every step we can take closer to Bitcoin with these, side chains, 1.5 chains, whatever, is better than saying, let's do Ethereum and then Arbitrum and then Blast and then this and that, because to my opinion, that's just moving further and further into the ocean away from
Yeah, it's kind of like what we use on the show a lot, getting further away from the rock. The closer you are to the rock,
Yeah.
the kind of the closer you are to safety. The further you go out,
Hmm.
you can drown. You know what I mean, like real
Right.
quickly. But if you're close to the land, you can kind of get the shore really quickly, because you can always go back to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin
Great
being the safest
analogy.
asset.
The
I
island
see.
moving into the ocean. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I like that.
Before we get into other thing, I do want to bring up one more TradFi thing here. Something that I've been looking at. We actually brought this up on the show about 6 months ago, and we thought we were kind of in the hope phase, but I didn't think we were as hopeful as what happened here. So if you look at the Bitcoin chart, which we just did, right, and it's been up only. If you had to pick one of these, where are we? Are we belief, optimism? Where are we on this Wall Street cheat sheet?
I think belief optimism is probably a good guess. Maybe somewhere in the middle there,
Yeah,
edging towards belief. We showed that monthly chart kind of moving straight up. So I think that that's definitely a good guess. Um, I don't think we're quite at peak euphoria. You really haven't seen all of the altcoins run. That's usually a good sign that a lot of liquidity is sloshing around. It's been pretty Bitcoin centric, and kind of as I mentioned earlier, we're out of cycle. So this could be completely different. Everybody likes to say, "Oh, this happened the last 4 year cycle. This happened the last 4 year cycle." But maybe it is different this time, and we're just going to have to wait to see because it is playing out different right now. I mean, it really
Yeah.
is.
I mean, some are calling this. There's Bob Lucas. I don't even know who he is. He's a big. He does like a video every 3 months, and their videos are
Hmm.
so good. But he talks about this left translated cycle a lot, right? Where
Okay.
we kind of we smash into this cycle before the halving, and we
Hmm.
finish off a lot sooner, maybe September or October. So he basically has two scenarios. One being a super cycle, which
Hmm.
that's where I'm leaning towards. That's my
Not
700K
bullish enough,
number.
right?
Not bullish enough. And then there's a left translated cycle, which means we're going to finish in November of this year, right around election
Okay.
time, which is kind of
Hmm.
scary because that means it's probably going to go the way we don't want it to go with, Gary Gensler still being in charge and all that. So it's just one of those things where if you had to pick one of those, would you say left translated or super cycle?
I mean, obviously, I'm hoping for a super cycle. We want the number to just get astronomical, short squeeze all of the financial institutions and say, you know, give me a bid, right? But that could happen. Definitely. I think the election year is a really good point. This is going to be the most money spent on an election by far. So a red hot summer could make sense. Maybe we
Yep.
ride the halving and just it's red hot until then. And then after the election, it's that deep gasp like, oh my gosh, we need to take a breath. So I mean, it could definitely be a lot of scenarios to play out. And obviously, I hope it's just like number go up. But like we were looking at those monthly charts. I mean, we have to have a chill out eventually. Maybe it is 3 to 6 months away, and then it's a local bottom, and then we see like the rest of the bull run play out, which you kind of have euphoria, a drop down, and then
Yep.
complacency. And so that would make sense in a more of a lifetime cycle. But what are you
Yeah.
thinking? I mean, I know you're super bullish, so I mean, I think you're leaning towards super cycle, but that could
Yeah.
obviously play out a lot of different ways.
I'm 100% super cycle. I think, so for people that don't know, a left translated cycle is like a 7th month cycle, where
Mm,
we kind of peak a little earlier. A normal cycle usually lasts about 500 days, so about 15 months. You've seen it in 2016, you've seen it in 2020, and people are thinking potentially could do it again. The 500 days, you hear a lot of these big YouTubers saying, I don't care what the
mhm,
price is at, in 500 days, I'm out, Ran and BitBoy and those guys. And then you have people who are just saying, yeah, but you're going to be selling to BlackRock, who doesn't give a crap about the price. They just want to get as much Bitcoin as they can because these rich guys have trillions of dollars. They run everything, and they're hoping that you sell to them at 500 days, and they're just going to take it. They're just going to rip it up higher, right? Because they know what it actually is. And I'm actually in that boat. I don't think Larry Fink gives a crap about the price of Bitcoin. I think with the Rothschilds and the elites, they finally get it. They finally understand. They finally seen the inflation and what Jerome Powell can do to the dollar, and they're kind of leaning towards this money that is hard money. The reason why we're all attracted to it, and if that is true, and they see that, they're not going to stop buying. Right, they're
mm,
going to Michael Saylor this stuff, right? Michael Saylor doesn't
mhm.
give a rat's ass if it's 40,000 or 10,000 or if it's 100,000. He's going to keep buying, and I think a lot of these rich people have that same mindset.
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting. And even, we have much more of a North American view. And I think the little bit of edge that we've gained, Shizzy, OSD, et cetera, is from listening to China more or looking at Europe. And most other nations, honestly, have had much higher inflation, have much different parameters of regulation and law around crypto, some much more strict. I mean, we have proficiency, and myself from having a poker career playing online and stuff like that. I've used a VPN for over a decade, but like that's a way of life in most other countries.
It is.
It's becoming more common in the states, especially using crypto and DeFi, et cetera. And only do what's legal in your jurisdiction. But we do have to just take things into our own hands. If you want to be your own bank, sometimes you just have to do that.
And it's not just to get around the law. Like I use it because I don't want people knowing my address. Like
Yeah.
if I go onto this like one of these sites or even Coinbase, obviously you sign in KYC and stuff like that. But there's some other dApps like Aave and
Hmm.
stuff like that. I don't want them having my personal information, right? It's
Yeah.
it's more about safety
Or
than
what random
anything
cookie
else.
got put on your computer or whatever. I mean, it's OPSEC too. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's just really how deep do you want to go down this rabbit hole? Really, I mean, we can go on for a while.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So as part of the show here, we're kind of check into the comments, check out what everyone has going on here. So I call this the roll call. And number one, because in Bitcoin, first is first, right? We got my boy Danny. Danny was actually our
Yo.
number 2 subscriber by about 30 seconds. So it was Rocket, and then it was Danny. So I always told him that he was the
Okay.
number 1, but today he is number 1. He said, "Dang, I'm third again," but it's showing for me that you're number 1, Danny. So Thank you for that. Number 2 is Wendy Yam, followed by Glasshopper. E-Buck in the building. We got Crypto Noob, Green Man, Yo Street. Who else we got? We got Courtney Johnson. Welcome, Courtney. This is your first time I've seen you here. Vac Zone. What's up, Vac? Then we got Brian Laundry. Laundry? We got this freaking guy. We got this guy in the building. Bullish on our OG fans. It changed lives.
Enjoy your day off, sir.
We'll come back to that. Shout out Vinny. Shout out Ichitoshi in the house. I Walk Alone. Joko. Khalil. Who else we got? We got Kai Effect in the building. Hong Kong. He's in the support desk, right? So we got Joko, and then Danny said, "Wow, I got it." There was 2 people in front of me, but I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, Danny, you're number 1, bro. And
it was like before you hit live or something. Yeah.
It might have been something like that. It's showing Danny at like 7 o'clock. Like, bro, what are you doing in here 4 hours early?
Waiting eagerly. Yeah.
Appreciate you, buddy. But yeah. So we're gonna jump to our next topic here. This is something that I asked you for some topics, and this was something that you wanted to, and I actually didn't even see this. I'm actually glad you brought it to my attention. Casey is preparing everyone for the possibility that runes may not be operational from day one. Given the billions invested in various projects, it's kind of scary for that to be a thing. And he's been messing around. Like he said, he's been playing video games and stuff like that. Like it seems like he doesn't even want this casino that he's creating to be a thing. He just wants to create it to stop the UTXO blow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, hopefully things go well, but with anything in software, there can be bugs, etc. And yeah, he put out this tweet. It was about like a month mark from when the halving most likely will occur. Obviously, there's no set time. But just said, like it may not be fully functional day one. This is something we've mentioned at the desk too. Like there's going to be services trying to be ready. There's going to be websites trying to be ready for ruins day one to let you trade, etch, etc. But we know websites, when they get a lot of traffic, can go down. So the safest way is to have your own node, have the newest org client running, and that takes some time, right? You have to download the entire Bitcoin blockchain. You have to then index it with the newest software, which can change in the last minute if they're fixing bugs. So I'm confident that they'll push something, but I think that tweet he put out a few days ago was definitely hedging his bets a little bit in case they're not. I think that the burden on him has gotten a lot bigger since we've seen all these pre-ordinal runes projects coming out with Arsic leading the way, and then Runestone by Leonidas just kind of stealing the spotlight because it's been the biggest drop. I guess technically somebody did it after them, but let's be real, like the Runestones have just honestly been surprisingly like spot on. Leo did a great job of making a project in his vision that he thought was fair and executing it. Was everything that he did what everyone else said you should do this or that? No, but he ran with a vision, and honestly, it's been working out really well.
Yeah, Runestone was the biggest liquidity draw I've ever seen, right? Like, so I think like all the ordinals were really getting hit hard before Runestone dropped, and then when Runestone dropped, you saw everything go up. The puppets are still flying, right? So a lot of that liquidity went into the puppets. Puppets were like 0.18. Now I saw them this morning at 0.3.
They've been the shooting star lately.
Insane, man. I that might have been my biggest miss. I hit on a lot of stuff. I hit on no monkeys. I hit on a lot of stuff, but that was the one that I missed, and I heavily regret it because they were going for like $200 when I saw it, and I didn't even buy one. One.
That's my big fumble. Like I got frustrated because the website minting that day, and it's just like even if that happens, then just bite the bullet, go buy it, couple $100 more, so be it. Like if you're really confident and bullish in something, the difference, I know that $10 is different than 200 or whatever the price might be, but if you are bullish about it, especially in this kind of market, you should easily be able to see those returns, or at least get out in a reasonable amount of time and not get too burnt on a $200 bet, right? Or even if you did $5 and $1,000 bet, if you're in this market, you definitely have to take those leaps. But back to like the runes and the runestones, I definitely hope that they can. And I think Leo's even mentioned it. Like he doesn't want to pay all those fees, so he's going to probably wait a little bit. Like you actually won't get tradable runestone runes in your wallet on day one. So yeah, just even the fees might be so crazy that it makes no sense to actually buy them on those days. So Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting just to see how everything plays out. But I think people should be ready. Like, if you really want to be the closest to it, get your node set up and not count on third-party sources to get in there.
Yeah, and I think too is if let's just say this is back Casey kind of like there's problems, right? And this comes out the first week of May. Is it that really that big of a deal?
Probably not in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, we can look at Merlin Chain, right? There's been a lot of activity over there. There's a ton of money locked up in there. It's not like it's been hacked or anything like that, but the FUD's coming around because there's something to FUD. And it's fine. I don't like that the Unisat wallet's having issues, but this is the first time something like this has been tried in this specific manner. So problems are likely, right? So I
Yeah,
have had interactions with it and I've been able to get it to work for the most part. And I've heard others have had nightmares. So I feel for them, and everybody should have the same experience on a blockchain moving quickly. But this is a first. So, if
yeah,
anything in software, same with Runes, is a first. This is the first shot he's had at this. And he is, a specific coder in a specific lane for most of his career. So for other people to build off of that, is a lot of expectation to have like marketplaces set up right away and dApps. A lot of people will probably be interacting from the client line or like the early days of Ordinals, spreadsheet trading, using Sparrow Wallet, whatever workarounds they have to, because they just want to make it happen.
yeah. And that's the thing too. Casey does like to poke fun at things, right? So he could just come out with said this just to kind of get everyone a little bit, oh no, you know what I mean?
Right.
So what are the chances of this was just a like I already have it ready. I'm just gonna mess around.
For sure. Yeah. And it could just be like, I want to have this in my back pocket just in case, even though it's 99.9% ready. I know they're working on it. I know they have a lot of things in order. And yeah, I'm just definitely looking forward to like, hey, it's here. Let's have it. Let's see what happens. Get it on the market.
Yeah, man. Yep. Obviously, I think we're both bullish on runes, but like to your point with the Merlin thing, it's not about the wallet or Merlin. It's about Polygon Matic. So they're
Hmm.
waiting for Ethereum to do their upgrade, and that
Yep.
just happened. So now Polygon is can officially do their upgrade. So I think everything was really waiting for Ethereum. Now they're waiting for Polygon, and then Merlin can do their upgrade to that, and then it's really just a particle network, and that's why people are having issues. It has really nothing to do with Merlin chain itself. It's really with
Exactly.
Polygon.
Right.
So,
And it's just software interacting with software, and somebody tried something that's never been done before. So
yep,
now it has to be, back coded, and then all the updates have to come along. And that's what we're seeing. So, like I said, yeah, it's
exactly.
not anything where, like you said, with the chain specifically, but like the activity, the interaction with the chain is lessened because there is a software issue.
100%. I agree.
Hmm.
I guess we'll stay on the runes topic here. This is the thing that I think is going to happen. It's topic is will runes kill all liquidity in other meta protocols, and if so, how long? And I put if so, how long because I believe that the next 6 months you're going to see no volume in tap, no volume in CBRCs, no volume in BRC20s, right? I mean, I do think you see some on the side chains, but no, not on layer one. And I
Hmm.
really think that runes. I think if you're a project and you don't have a runes plan, then you're going to get left behind. And I truly believe that. And I was actually curious of your opinion on that.
That's a great take. I mean, if you take away centralized exchange trading and like L2 and kind of bundle that, say L1 specific trading with its
Yep.
OKX, Unisat, volume is definitely down in those areas for sure. They do trade at a premium though, so you know what I mean. It just depends on how you want to play that game. But you have to do transfer inscriptions or whatever the protocol may be. I think it for sure is going to be rune centric. But interesting with Merlin, you have the first BRC20 in RuFi that's going to be tradable for a rune. So I think that that's going to be an interesting play. Is maybe that interoperability between the two. We kind of speculated on this when Unisat brought in atomicals and started using that on the marketplace. OKX actually recently put an atomicals tab on there as well. So I know atomicals have not had a lot of volume lately, and are another one that Runes is definitely going to be looking out for because they're very similar UTXO based. But yeah, I think it is going to be a Rune centric hype cycle. But I'm a little more bullish on BRC20s just being involved in the open indexing. I think that there is a future in the module system, but it might be, after this cycle plays out with the hype of runes. It may be the quiet. I mean, in a couple days, there's an upgrade where you can do 5 byte tickers. You don't have to mint it out. I mean, there are upgrades coming, and there can be more. I think they've just been really hesitant to do so. But with all of the new competition, I think it's good that it's going to force Layer One Foundation, Domo, the indexers, the sequencers, and everybody else to push forward because I think that, like we just mentioned in the last segment, runes could get out of the gates and blast off and be like this hot cycle for 6 months, or it could stumble, right? There could be some bugs in it. There could be some fixes that have to come. So same with, we've seen inefficiencies in the indexing, and that's just been honestly the craziest thing, that indexing has been the topic of, everything for basically the past year. How are we going to index this collection? How are we going to index on chain? How are we going to index this? So I think for sure at least the next couple months is going to be rune centric, but I think BRC20s still have their place, and maybe it's in a tandem with runes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, I think you're definitely right, and I kind of think that the runes blanket basically covering the entire ecosystem is probably the best thing that could happen to BRC20. Now they can build under the blanket and not be under the
Mhm.
radar and the scrutiny
Great take.
and the FUD. It's kind of like it might be the best case scenario for them to kind of be pushed under the blanket, and then when everyone get bored of runes, and we saw with BRC20s towards the end after like Traverse and stuff, it was just crap after crap after crap. There was like it was just it was player versus player towards the end
Yeah.
there. It wasn't as fun as it was when we were minting honk and minting rats and minting sats and all that fun stuff. It really
Yeah.
got boring and oversaturated, and I think that happens again with runes. And then you got BRC20s to come in and say, hey, look what we've built, and everyone's like, oh my god, where did this come from? When in reality, was this all happening, just everyone wasn't
Takes
focused on.
time. Like we said, there's no L1 dApps really, right? Liquidium is kind of leading the way, and that's with one engineer that knows DLCs probably better than anybody in the world. So it is hard to do these things. BitVM's been talked about. Side chains are trying to do it for years, like Stacks. So it's just really hard to get everything on L1, and that's one reason why Bitcoin has been such a security layer. So yeah, I mean, I hope that that's correct. That maybe it could be the memes. It was the memes, right? That you were just talking about in the fall. Then
Yep.
the runestone meme season, and then we see the utility season. Whether that's BRC20's runes playing nice, maybe BRC20's just takes it to a whole nother level. Who knows? But I think that
Yep.
yeah, that might be the next cycle is where we really see hopefully people getting paid for rolling up using Unisat swap layer and other things, playing games, earning tokens, etc.
Yep.
Whatever it
And by that point too, you might see like B Network come on the scene, and they,
is.
they might do like take on like BRC20s and stuff. We know they're close with Unisat and stuff like that. So that could definitely be a possibility. And there's just so many other things that are coming. I mean, we're hearing stuff left and right from just different people that are building. And it's very exciting, man. I think we're
Mhm.
in the right place at the right time. I don't see any place in crypto that is more bullish than what we have right here. Is there
Yeah,
any truth to that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you could maybe make an argument for like soul shit coins, but that's just not my jam. So be it. Like, and I know it's
Yeah.
not yours, and I'm just bringing it up. Like, by all means, if you want to spend your money and you want to, take risk, by all means, do it. But for sure, like, I've definitely moved my vote here, and I think that there's tons of opportunity if you want to do it in ruined shit coins or
Yeah.
BRC20 shit coins or ordinal projects, whatever it may be. I mean, I think there really is a great future here, and it is early. It's going to be herky jerky for a while, and that's okay. The L2s will help with that, and ideally, we can bring a lot of this back to L1. Maybe even with Bitcoin upgrades, with like Booty and the Quantum Cats leading the way, to at least have a conversation about these things. Whereas I feel like a year ago, you couldn't even have a conversation like that. So,
Yeah. People
how
are,
big
it's
props to them.
Yep, people were saying, we're disturbing people in El Salvador buying coffee and stuff like that, and buying bread and stuff. Yeah, I remember those conversations too. They weren't very fun to have. But
Right.
moving on here, we got so this is something again you brought to my attention. I almost missed this as well. Unisat app is launching tomorrow. Unisat is one of those people that just come on and go, "Yo, this is happening in like 8 hours," right?
Yep.
So, because I mean,
They,
it's crazy.
they're just quiet and they ship. That's honestly what I
Yeah,
love about them. Like, I wish they were a little more vocal in the space. I wish they had at least like a monthly, AMA space, whatever it was, to just say, here's where you're at, here's the progress report, ask questions. But that's not their style, so be it. So yeah, they
yeah,
generally, show up, slap something on the table, and say, go at it. Does it work perfectly all the time? No. We just mentioned the swap system needs to go white module. But at the same time, I could say that's a point that they've allowed decentralization to play out. They're allowing different teams to build the indexing system and sequencer. They're allowing, and it's not like I'm saying they're allowing like they're the master of the market or anything like that, but they're choosing to be a market participant in a decentralized manner in a decent way. Yes, there's centralized points, there's choke points, like anything. You could argue the same thing about Bitcoin and many of these other chains that run currently today. So, to at least have a good faith argument where they're moving towards that, I really have been calling for a while, but I think it is going to be, like the year of indexing. If we can get this indexing problem sorted out in a decentralized manner, where like OPI already has runes code in there. I found that out from Binary in a space a while ago, and I was honestly surprised about that. But like they're open to any meta protocol coming to the table, and it's an open source project. You can literally pull the Git, put in your information, and then put in a pull request just like you can with the Ord client for the most part. So, if that can continue to happen, that would be, I think, ideal because we are going to have meta protocols if this is going to work. Like at the end of the day, this is all technically just data we're spitting on chain, and our indexing method is what's telling us what is an ordinal, what data is pointing at these satoshis, et cetera. But the data is on Bitcoin. It's not IPFS.
Yeah, it's basically these indexers are just they're just telling you what's there. Like, hey,
Hmm.
this is on this block, this is on this block, this is what this says.
I mean,
And it's
that's
kind
what
of just
Bitcoin
reading it.
Core is. Honestly, it's indexing the blocks. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
indexing all the transactions and the software that consensusly, I guess, is agreed upon. I think there's going to be more Bitcoin Core software in the future, whether it's from Unisat, other players, et cetera. But that's how it used to be as well. There used to be several services you go to and choose their software for these features or that. And just recently, like Bitcoin Core, BIPs, et cetera, we've seen just like a choke point of innovation, et cetera. And I think Ordinals at least is sparking this conversation in just various different ways, whether it be indexing, BIPs,
Yeah.
nonsense in general.
I didn't even think about that. Like indexing, like layer one assets is just like a microscope on Bitcoin Core, just looking a little deeper, right?
Yeah, like
So
literally when you do it, like I tell people, download the blocks, use Bitcoin Core software because it's the simplest point and click. It starts downloading the blocks. It's simple for people to use. And then when you get Ord client, you're actually just shoving software into a folder and it's doing more with Bitcoin Core. It's an indexing system on top of Bitcoin Core. So that's what OPI is doing too. Yes, there's more components. You have to download a local database. You have to get some more pieces of software so it can do certain things. But at some point, it could be like Bitcoin Core, where it's point and click, it downloads all these resources. It's just not there yet. And it's because
yeah,
they've been changing the versions, just like Ord Client has been changing versions. We're not even at 1.0 yet for any of this stuff, right? We're still technically like beta alpha phase, moving towards a 1.0 rollout. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that on the Ord Client end, OPI, or any other competitors that can put a market out there for an open protocol built system that's decentralized.
yeah. I mean, there's anyone who thinks they're late, and we're not even on one yet, which is
Hmm.
actually insane, right? That's pretty
Yeah,
crazy. But to the Unisat thing, do you think
yeah.
we're not hearing about this stuff because we're on the West? Do you think China has a lot more? They're getting more information than we are.
Probably, I guarantee there's some loss in translation, and we for sure try to talk to our Asian friends. We had Lily in the desk a couple days ago, or maybe even yesterday.
Yeah, she's
So
amazing.
it's like, yeah, and shout out Mr. J. He's a great resource. Unicross, what they're building there, but we don't get to talk to them, daily. So it's nice to
Yeah,
catch up with them. We try to jump in spaces that do bilingual, but honestly, we know that like it's not the same when they're translating. They're giving you the meat and potatoes of it, but they might not give you that nuance. Or how many times have we talked to like Jeff about Merlin chain and we teased out something because of a reaction, a split second thing that we noticed or saw. So yeah,
yep,
it's got to be different. We're for sure missing some of it, but that's why we scour the WeChats or the translations and this and that, because
yeah.
we know there is stuff there, and we just do the best we
Yeah, and like I'm in a couple telegrams, and it's just all Asian stuff, and I just constantly just copy a whole bunch and put it in
can.
ChatGPT and say translate, and I go
Yep.
through it. And dude, what they say about Merlin chain, they say like they're just so bullish on it because like it's the first Chinese chain, and like that was the reason why I was bullish on Astar. Before I got over here, I was big in DeFi, and Astar is a Japanese blockchain, and that's
Okay.
the one that like and like the Asian communities are very loyal to each other, and they try to use like Asian businesses. They constantly they
Hmm.
use each other. They
Build
network
up
each
from
other.
within. Yeah.
Exactly, and they do that in Japan. And when I heard them say that in China, it did register like Merlin chain could be their chain of choice because it's made by Chinese for Chinese type of thing,
Hmm.
and that could be absolutely insane because obviously we know Chinese run ordinals. Like it's their Bitcoin
A lot
that
of
pushed everything to
Bitcoin.
the top. So exactly. So
A lot of
when I go into
mining.
these telegrams and I read what they say, it's a lot of the same things. It's a lot of the same things. Like this is our car. Merlin chain is ours. So
Hmm.
and that being on the outside looking in, and I'm somebody who I like to be that minnow who just follow the whales, right? I'm gonna follow this Chinese
Yeah.
industry basically and just see where it goes because I want their Bitcoin to fall in my lap, right? I want to as they're chomping away at these big food or stuff that's going to fall to me, and I'll be happy enough to pick it up and keep it going,
A
right?
little
So
more so. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, just riding their wave, right? Like they're definitely leading the wave of
exactly.
liquidity. And yeah, shout out to Unisat. I know this has been long awaited, but like there for whatever reason, whether it was a technical reason, whether it was even just getting approved by the Android store, kind of like we talked about with Merlin chain, like the chain is working fine. A lot of the
Yep.
things are rolling out and building more. But when piece of software is working on a piece of software, or it's working with a piece of software it's never interacted with before, problems arise. So it's good that these things are going out. It's good that it's not astronomical, a big hack or something like literally the chain stops or whatever. But yeah, these are kind of expected. And like we've seen, I think B Squared Network you mentioned, like they were supposed to be out already. They were supposed to be live net, and they've obviously, had to drag their feet for whatever reasons. Maybe it's because of this account abstraction thing, and they're seeing the problem it's having. So why put your live net out there? They actually just recently upgraded to a new like final test net. So I think it's basically like they chose not to call it mainnet, and they're launching their mainnet kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But Mara with their L2 play is going to see similar things, and they're
Yeah.
going for a more institutional look. So now you're going to have institutional people trying to tap into crypto and new software and wallets, right? So, and we know institutions are using banking software from the 80s, most likely. So, like, that's
Yeah.
just a whole nother like complication to get added in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking
I
forward to
remember.
using this app. You know,
Yeah. 100%. I mean, the Unisat app it's going to be amazing, especially you can obviously you need a Unisat app for a lot of things, and you can probably do layer 2 stuff on them as well, right? On the right from the app, you think?
or like or like experts, like what apps are they going to have in there? Are they going to have any like special things like that, or what can they
Oh
add?
yeah.
Right? They're going to have this whole arena that they could add a fun game that blows up on Merlin chain, or Ord's Games has been building for a long time, and they want to use the programmatic module. So they're going to be
Yeah.
experimenting with these things, and they can easily funnel that into their app, which is going to be in thousands, tens of thousands, soon many hands in Asia, North America, wherever.
Wow. Yeah, this is actually bigger than I thought. Could
Mm.
Unisat wallet overtake Xverse in users on mobile users? I guess.
Definitely, I think so. Just with
Yeah.
China, yeah, because I think
Yeah.
the big reason OKX is seeing such a good increase against everybody, honestly, is because of how seamless their app is. When you're
Yeah.
able to use the exchange and then click a button and switch to the Web3 app, that is light years better than Coinbase, two different apps.
Yeah. Mhm.
Xverse doesn't have that feature with the exchange, et cetera. And obviously, it's because of regulations, and it's not anything negative against them. It's just OKX has found a niche that works really well and dove into ordinals and BRC20s and mainly got the coins going, which has now propelled them at least to be a player in the image collections and everything else, BRC 420
100%.
assets, etc.
Yeah, man, I agree. All right. All right, moving on now. It's a little
Always
game
fun
that I
to
like
have
to
new
play.
toys.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, there's a new game that I like to play. I played with Chris last week. It's called Bullish or
Okay.
Bearish, right? It's really simple, real easy. I'm gonna go through all these 12 here, and you're just gonna tell me bullish and bearish, and then give me a quick reason why.
Okay, cool.
No good.
Let's do it.
All right, Runestone, start it off.
Bullish, I think it was a great drop, a huge base of holders or at least wallets. And one thing that was interesting that I'll just go a little bit longer on this one was just
Yeah,
people that have come into the market over the last 3 months. You don't really realize how big a play this is. Like they're not getting this OG tag, and that bothers them, right? That somebody came into a space one day and was just like, "Yeah, I'm only getting one, or I'm not getting any," and I'm really bummed about that. That gives them the FOMO to want to get into this and see what can happen. So I thought that was just a really interesting take because a lot of us were like, "Oh, we're all getting them. Who's going to really want them?" But if we're going to have people continually coming in, that's really an OG tag that you have in your wallet.
no, I didn't even think about that. You're right. Having one of these basically says, "Hey, I was here last year. Where were you?"
Hmm.
So yeah, you're
Right.
definitely right about that. And
Like I might just keep one as a
yeah,
memento. I don't even care, honestly.
yeah, you're definitely right because even after the airdrop, I mean, what happens with these? Like what like they're going to be used as like badges, right?
Yeah. I think some have speculated, like even RSIC, that there will be other use cases. At the end of the day, it is, an ordinal in your wallet. So, maybe it's just airdrops, maybe it's some, thing that they, honor you with later or whatever. But I just think honestly, it's cool art, Runestone, Leo, props, dude, great job.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we hinted at these guys earlier,
Mhm.
but the Bitcoin puppets, they're taking over everything.
Yeah.
Bullish or bearish?
I'm bullish on decentralized, man. He's leading the way. He's the head puppet in charge. But yeah, just having a blast. Look, we're gonna get to other ones, but we see just pups everywhere, right? All the derivatives. It's the culture right now. So more power to them. Those two, Runestone and Bitcoin puppets, are like two of the 4 items that I'm always trying to get offers in on Liquidium because I just feel like they're sound assets right now.
100%. We go to that number 3 guy, Node Monkeys.
Mhm.
Bullish or bearish?
Node Monks, I missed the boat, whether I like it or not. They've been a great project. They've shot to the moon, but just at that price point, it's tough for me to get behind any collection. I think that they rose almost to a Bitcoin, so shout out to them. But I think that they're still, accumulating again. So maybe a little more trace back, but still amazing collection. They, put their mark in the sand, and more power to them.
So bullish?
I would say bearish short term, but bullish overall long term. Like I think they're still going to keep retracing probably like half a Bitcoin or something. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's just because I think it's a market wide thing that we're seeing.
Yeah, and I actually recently sold mine too. I couldn't pass up. I bought them each for $2,000, and I couldn't pass up 40 grand for each. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay,
Right on.
a 3x.
And you were talking
here
about
would
keeping
be
one
it.
longer term too, right? Like I know you sold one, but that can change on a day to day basis as it should as a trader.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I had a conversation with Francis, Francis Uncensored, and he basically said like, "Hey, dude, it's the coins that you want. This stuff's cool, but it's the coins." And I'm thinking, okay, that 40K can get me a lot more coins.
Yep.
So I really got me thinking like, and I
And it's
feel like
hard to
we're
ladder
not.
out of your position with one thing, right?
It really is. I can't.
Sorry to
It's
cut you
either
off.
sell it or don't sell it. I can't do that. Like at least with the coins, I can go. You know what? I'll hold my moon bag. I can't do
Mhm.
that with a $40,000 ordinal.
Yeah, or compare
And
it to Runestones, right? Where like it's a lower
yeah,
price point, you have more with that price, yeah.
yep. And the thing is too is like
And it's
my
turning
house.
into a coin, so that helps.
Well, that too. Exactly. It eventually will be a coin. Exactly. So you could put that in there and you actually get coins that we could ladder out. But like I was
Mhm.
looking at this, like, I had $80,000 of no monkeys. My house is like 150K. Like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? So it was like
I
one
hear
of
you.
those things where so you guys can't like you have if you're feeling that way. And I felt like how would I feel if it hit 0.3 again? I'd be like,
Right.
damn, I missed a huge opportunity. And then I couldn't sell it, right? At 0.3, no matter how much I needed the liquidity because I feel like I lost $20,000.
Right.
So I took my profit here, and I'm not going to get back in. I'm going to actually I'm going to put that in 10 different projects, and then see which one goes to the moon for me
Rediversify.
next.
Hey, you got a plan and you're sticking to it,
Yep.
You've told us your plan that you usually play is like try to get in early and then, get out and rotate, and whether it's into a
Yep.
single project or several, right? I think that's at the end of the day the biggest thing that any trader can have. And after hours, shout out to the Benjamins, Bitcoin
Yeah.
Benjis. He brought up literally risk management the other day in the desk, and I'm not the best at it, but I feel like I'm better than most in this space. But even I could be better. I could be writing down my goals more so. I could be having a trading notebook, etc. But just having a plan in general makes you less emotional. So I think that anybody that needs to do that, or if you are getting emotional, that means maybe it's a time to take some risk off the table and cash some out. I mean, I've heard of people buying land, paying off debt. Do it.
Yeah.
If this is a vehicle to get your financial freedom, that's the point. Whether you can hold on to those satoshis now, tomorrow, forever, so be it.
Yeah.
But like, if this makes your life more comfortable, then go for it. Like, never gonna sell shame anybody for that.
Well, my biggest thing is, and if you can sleep through the night and not wake up in the middle of the night, if you've checked out that price at 4 o'clock in the morning, you have way too much money in it. And that's what I
Yeah,
started to do with no monkeys. I started to wake up in the middle of the night when I had the two. I'm like, oh, where are they at? Oh, they sell
yeah,
68 or
yeah.
6.68. Where are they at there? And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, that's 1.25 Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to $1 million one day. So for me, it's like, am I really
Yeah,
going to let that $1 million go? Or does no monkeys do they drop against Bitcoin when it is $1 million? Of course they do.
yeah. And this is a
At
good
point
good
one.
spot. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was curious because I think you subscribe to it too, but you believe like Bitcoin will outpace ordinals at some point, right? Just because it's going to
I
go
think it
so
does.
parabolic, right? So that means you
Yep.
have to rotate out of these projects and these tokens in general at some point. Obviously, we're all playing the ordinals game to stack more sats. Yes, some will be long-term holds that we see for rainier days. Everybody has their risk tolerance and every other plan that they
Yep.
want to do. But if you're not moving back into Bitcoin, which you think is the most sound money, the parabolic super cycle is coming, which you talked about earlier, right? So you have a plan and you're executing it. It's not that you're just
Exactly.
throwing darts against the wall.
Yep. And I expected no monkeys to hit 0.64 when I bought them at 0.0015.
Right.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a 5x. Like I
Yeah.
would have been happy with that, but I would have held it.
0.25, you were right. But what if they
I was
did
at
like we'll get to Bitcoin frogs, right? Shoot to 0.5
yeah.
and now they're back below 0.1, right? You foresaw that possibility
Yep.
and took the
And
risk
because
off
I
the
saw the
table.
frogs. Exactly. It's
Hmm.
just one of those things where you just don't know, it's
Yeah.
one, but like now I can sleep through the night now. That's my
Right.
biggest thing. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night checking it. I don't check Bitcoin. I
Yeah.
don't care what the price of Bitcoin
Right.
is. To me, it's all about how many do I have?
Right.
Like that is the
Because it's
question.
a
It's never
finite
about
amount at the end of the day. Yep.
exactly. And I think that's why we're all here. That's why we're all
And you say you're out of known months
towards it.
right now, right? But like maybe in 2 months it's at 0.25 and you see the value, you see the chart, and you decide to step
Yep.
back in. You have plenty of options in the future.
100%. And that 0.25 could still be $40,000 because Bitcoin's so freaking high. You
Right.
know what I
But now
mean?
you got
So
it in
it's
a lower entry at SAT price. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. You get me, J25. You get me. All
Mhm.
right. Ordinal MaxiBiz, bullish or bearish?
I'm definitely long-term bullish. The cabal is strong in that one. Whether you're a huge fan of ZK, like he's putting out a product that hits and he's got the momentum, the culture behind it. So, like we were talking about with the puppets, like I think it's all about what kind of culture you can create. They're both doing very different things, but they are on point, on message. To bring up a random reference, like I'm not a huge fan of XRP, but they've always been a community that's on brand, on message, right? We're a remittance solution. We're a remittance solution, right? Like never talk about anything else. It's annoying, honestly. But Ordinal MaxiBiz, it's a movement. Puppets, it's chaos, right?
Yep.
It's something that their brand is very clear and distinct. So they may dip back a bit more. I've been watching their floor because I think that 0.29 price will get hit because a lot of people got it at 0.09 and are still making profit around there. And it's just mainly it's nothing against that project. I think we're just seeing this pullback for liquidity because everybody's anticipating runes.
Yeah, 100%. I that's the reason why I bought one and then I dumped it a couple days later at a loss because I was like, you know what, I need to get as much Bitcoin as I can because I need to be ready for the coins. And that was it
Yep.
was after a conversation I had with Francis, and he really got me thinking about coins. He's like, coins,
Yeah.
bro, coins. So and I
That's cool that you guys are connecting more. Yeah. Shout out to
yeah,
Francis,
yeah.
man. He's been a great
Francis was
resource.
doing uncensored. He's been like a mentor to us. He's really like started hitting us up in the DMs, and I jumped on a call with him a couple times a week, and we kind of just go over and I ask him a lot of questions because
Mhm.
he is at where I want to be.
Yeah.
Like 40,000 subs, like multi-million there. His chandelier is more than my house. You know what I mean? Like that's where I want to be in life, right? So
Dude, yeah. The quality of content he puts out on like a very quick turnaround is impressive. Just with
yeah,
making the little bit of content I've made and your leaps and bounds beyond where we are at Orange Cubicle, just shout out to him, man. Him and his team put out a pristine product in like no time flat.
it's so good too. It's edited
Hmm.
well. It's almost
Cinematic. I
perfect
mean, that's
sometimes.
the way to
Yeah,
look at it. It's literally
yeah,
cinematic.
it really is. R6, bullish or bearish?
So this is one that I actually got one dumped on me because of liquidity. I'm a little bit under it, but I'm earning runes as I go. So I'm okay with it honestly going to zero. And I think that the team has said that they're going to have some thing for it in the future. But my point is like that I just need to make the money back on the coin, right? And we said we're bullish on tokens in the
Yep.
future and runes, right? Which is the token and it's rune. So I'm
Yep.
still bullish on them, even if the ordinal price continues to diminish, which it's doing, as we've said throughout collections. I think this one, because it's runes, has another chance to maybe pop back up. But even if it does go to zero and it's just a holding pattern, so be it, because really we're just playing out the token. So can the token value beat your entry price, even if you didn't get it for
Exactly.
free in my situation?
Yeah, and to me, this is a good buying price, right? Like this is, there's only 21,000 of these, and
Hmm.
there's 5 times as many runestones. So I don't know. I think this is kind of fair. It's very fair for price. I'm probably not going to get in.
Yeah.
And if I do, it'll probably be closer to the halving date. But definitely something I'm
Yeah.
looking at and monitoring. If it does, there's a price point where I don't want to say because I don't want to get front ran, but there's a
For
price
sure.
point that I'm looking at that I'm trying to get in. So
Yeah. And it's just like making these interesting observations on projects, right? It's kind of like an experiment because this is a totally new protocol. We have no clue what's going on. And now these new gamification standards. I know we're getting to game of block soon. So yeah, it's just cool the experiments that are going on.
100%, 100%. I guess we'll jump into some of the derivatives. Little
Yep.
pups. What do you
Little
think?
pups. I'm bullish on all thing pups. Whether it fluctuates around, I think we could see something with a lot of these derivatives just kind of taking off in a couple months once we see a more frothy market. The Bitcoin puppets, it honestly sat around, under $1,000 for a good little while and then exploded. So as
Yeah,
people look at an ordinal that's just out of their price range, Node Monks, MaxiBiz, Puppets itself, these are really good starter sets for people to get into, whether it's the little pups, shout out to the La Pupettes. I don't believe they're on the board today, but that was a great mint, a lot of fun. And
yeah,
honestly, it's just cool to see a lot of artists kind of taking the banner, and they've given a model to like get decent art on chain with a great meme. So not that I'm saying like that, the puppets aren't great and fun or whatever, but it is, it's AI like fuzzy kind of goofy art, but that's the meme they're going for and it works, right? So now they've got this whole cast of characters and family. I think they're doing hamsters and they've got 420 assets and the titanium Cheeto. Shout out to that. Like that was a blast from the
I
past.
forgot that Cheeto was a part of that cult, right?
It's so expansive. It's kind of insane. Shout out Shids and Wassies, man. It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
it's a whole ecosystem environment that honestly I knew a little bit about, but Decentralized again, man, literally gave us like story time of like Wassie culture and how the Shids played in, and then how the puppets were born into it, and all this kind of other
yeah,
stuff. And I'm probably butchering it, so that's fine. They'll correct me later.
yeah. Definitely. I actually would love to have him on the show to kind of break that down. That would actually be a really good story time. But I'll
Definitely.
keep it moving here. Game of
Mhm.
blocks. This is something new that came around last week. What can you tell me about this? And bullish bearish.
Yeah, I'm bearish. I sold all of mine. I wasn't really big, like 99% likelihood that you're dead. Cool idea, whatever. I just think the ratios were a bit off, but I really like the experimentation. And shout out to anybody that made it through. I just took the couple $100 and ran.
Yeah, man. So, Quantum Cats. Bullish or bearish?
I'm definitely bullish on Quantum Cats. It's another collection that I'd lump into puppets that I'm regularly putting in offers in because I just feel like it's a sound asset and hasn't really ran like we've seen with Ordinal MaxiBiz, pre-Orange Eyes, Node Monks of late, and even Bitcoin
Yeah,
puppets. They've done a 3x since mint, which is very solid by any means, but they've never really had that just like straight parabolic kind of go crazy. So maybe that's in with more transitions with the collection. I
yeah,
know that they have changing parts or with maybe a step forward in the bit process or the ZK rollup that they're working on, et cetera. But you can't, it's a team in place with Rajandel and Hootie that are known
yeah.
quantities in the space. They've got funding. I didn't get in on mint. I didn't grind for the whitelist or pay for it like you're not supposed to. So yeah, if I get it in a loan, I'm okay with that. But like that's a price point that I'm willing to get it at. It's like the not I'm gonna go buy it on the floor type of thing, but
Yeah, yeah. You're
definitely
basically
bullish
going
on the
to
team and everything. And that's how I'm playing these bigger collections is I'd rather play, give me the interest. And if things mess up and I get a default, great. But I'm just not going to pay 100% of most of these upper echelon collections, even though I'm bullish on them because I just think they are sound assets.
That's a really good strategy. You could put. I'm guessing you can probably put a loan for like about 0.2 or under.
Yeah, I think I have a one in for a puppet when they were at like 0.25, maybe 0.23 even for 0.15, like right now with like 7 days
Wow.
left. So yeah, if they default, I get a half price puppet, right? And the same thing kind of with the quantum cats. Like if I can get in at 0.2 and unfortunately defaults happen, they're unlikely.
Yeah.
And then it can even happen against you. Like right now, I loaned out my runestone, and right now I'm not going to repay it because it dipped below it. So it can be a
Yeah.
mechanism for both sides a little bit, even though they don't recommend you shorting on there. But, yeah, it can lock
Yeah.
you in at a
I
price
mean
like
that
if
is.
you are worried about a dip after a run. Like if you really wanted to, if you wanted to hold on to your node monk, you could have went and got that liquidity. Got a little bit of a discount, like you're playing with the Merlin Bitcoin. I know we've talked about,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you could play it that way too. So it just gives you options. It gives us traders options.
100%. Yeah, liquidity is definitely a tool to do that, and I actually probably should do that because I'm sitting on some Bitcoin right now, and that would be nice to
Yep.
get a
And
tap
airdrop
liquidity too.
farming, they're doing points, right? We talked about it being
Yeah,
the only DApp on layer one Bitcoin. Might be
yeah.
a token down the line, no guarantees. That never said anything.
There will be. It'd be stupid not to. Stupid not
At
to.
least an
So
OG pass makes sense, right? But yeah, no, that's definitely
yeah,
I've been following it for a while and just like the nerd in me tech wise, really enjoyed it. But it took me a while, honestly, even to get there, even though I know it's on L1. So I just
well,
started
yeah,
doing like bitmaps where it was like literally break even with the transaction fee, but I just wanted to interact and get comfortable with the site. And I actually did
yep,
this the same thing with perpetuals over the summer. Is like I literally just put in a $1 trade to see the number go bounce around, click the buttons, put in my stops and everything, because that's how I learn. I just have to actually do something.
yeah. I'm the same way, and I don't want to be the guinea pig either. I want other people to kind of go on first and tell me about their experience before I jump in with with
Hmm.
bigger money because
Hmm.
like doing it for me, doing anything with little money. I feel like it's like that movie Casino where he's like, he seems like he's doing littler hands, but like he feels he loses money every time. That's how I feel. I like going a little
Yeah.
heavier
Right.
to my risk limit a little bit. So otherwise, I feel
Right.
like
Push up the
just
risk so you get the reward. Yeah. And I'm much more of a techie. Like I like test betting and stuff like that. And sometimes there's great reward for that. Like shout out to Unicross
yeah,
and they're testing that with that emblem, man. That doing way better than I ever imagined. So it's worth
100%.
it definitely to experiment.
Yep. So another derivative here of the puppets, rune pups. It's basically a rune thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a marker for a runes collection. I believe they're transitioning their pups token over to runes, but I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure on the exact dynamics, if it'll be interchangeable or what. But yeah, anything pups, definitely bullish on. I didn't get any. I probably won't be buying any. But I mean, if it got to a certain point, maybe I would. But I think that just anything pups is going to keep moving.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Bitcoin frogs, bullish bearish.
Ribbit. I mean, I still have my frog. I luckily did sell a couple at a decent price in the last run up, but yeah, below this 0.1 mark after hours, that is not a good look. There could be some more retracing here. I definitely find it interesting. Maybe most of the players in it have moved on. Maybe they just need a resurgence, after some different hype cycles. So, like most of this stuff, I think I'm just bullish on it long term, but I am a little bearish on its price point right now. I think it might keep retracing with everything else.
Can frogs
It's
become the
just the
number one collection
OG. Like
again?
I don't know. Maybe it's bag bias, but I just can't get past. Like I don't think that they're gonna forever, get knocked down and
Yeah.
not be back towards that top eventually. But that's my opinion. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Can the frogs be the number one collection again?
I think that's going to be tough, right? So the culture, I think, is definitely behind OMB and puppets, and node monks are the ones that are easily able to say, we're early, we're first, we're OG. So where do the frogs like narrative fit in? And they did help build the space in the spring, no doubt about that. But has that cast kind of moved on into other things? That's what a lot of people are kind of speculating. I know Jake is still around, super bag holder, still holding
Yeah.
swamp spaces, holding it down. Love it that he comes by. And yeah, I'll keep my frog. I pretty much got out what I did. If my frog gets to the astronomical price I have it listed at, great. But yeah, I hope the best for him. But it's been tough to watch, honestly. I really hope they bounce back.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I really do. I hope they're like at least top 5 again.
It's definitely my fanboy pick. Like I think they should be, but I just don't see it right
Yeah.
now how it's going to happen.
What's the price where you're like, I don't care, I'm buying them here?
I mean, it's getting honestly kind of close to it. 0.05. I mean, I bought some last go, at like 0.03. And so I was happy when I got a couple sales of them at a great profit. But yeah, I just think it's got that OG status and maybe it's wrong, but I feel like it'd be worth like maybe snagging two and getting back in and letting it ride at like 0.05 or something.
Yeah, 0.05 is that number for me. I'm trying to stay away from getting coins, but that's a price point that I can't pass up. That's
Especially
undervalued.
if you see something you really dig too, that you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, this is a trade and investment, but you're also building brands around, things, your mineral shirts and everything else. You can do
Yeah.
your frog stuff. So like, there's opportunity there.
Exactly. Yeah, I can put it on t-shirts and hats and hoodies and stuff because I
Yeah,
feel like I only want to sell stuff that I own. I don't want to like grab someone else. And a lot of the CCO, and I get it, but like I still like to own the stuff
right.
that I'm making profit on.
You're being
So
professional. It's good.
yeah. I think I know your answer for this one, but Nat
Mhm.
Cat's bullish or bearish.
Yeah, bearish. I think it had its time in the sun. Just not a big fan of like off-chain stuff. If you guys can get a generator on-chain doing this stuff, I think you have a way better chance. But just not a huge fan of Tap protocol. I feel like, with being bitmaps first, I think it really should have been more of like a bitmap claiming system. So I just don't really like how that whole mechanism got rolled out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then the last one's the Tiny Vikings, bullish or bearish?
I'm bullish on this. This is one of the few like free drops that I've kept. Mainly, it's because I heard through the back channels that there's a lot of Cabal members that are interested in it. But yeah, so I think that there's some OMB ties. I'm not 100% sure if one of the OMB holders is running it or just a big fan of it or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's one that you had to activate, so I sent it to another wallet. I got it for free, so rather than flooring everything like I generally do, I kept those.
Nice, nice. Well, it just went away, and then something else popped up when I refreshed here. But
Opium.
opium.
Yeah. Another sale went through. Opium puppets, the OG. The one thing I will say is I'm surprised that they kind of play as like a slight advantage to the puppets, right?
I mean, y'all gonna be
They
saying
have
this all the
not
time. Yep.
they have not traded like an OG collection. They've traded as like a sub tier of the overall collection.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, y'all be saying all the time. These should be double. It should be double the price of a puppet,
Easy, if
easily.
not triple.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you could trade a puppet into an opium, I think that would just be a no-brainer, right? Like you're always going to get the OG airdrops, like you saw with the rune pups and other things like that. So yeah,
100%. I agree. All right, we've reached the after hour. Holy crap! We got a bunch of super chats that I was just not aware of. Shout out Danny boy. Shout out J25, Shizzy, Mr. Yagabi, Danny. We appreciate you, buddy. You're always number one to me. And who else we got? Another Kai Effect. Shout out Kai Effect, buddy. We appreciate Kai Effect's been one of our longest members as well. You guys really are showing up for us today. And we got
PFP.
these, man. All right, please, Shizzy, tell us about ARC20 Rect. So Rect it's a base community thing, right?
It's an actual new token. I haven't heard of Rect. No.
You never heard the Rect scientists over on Atomicals?
Oh, Rect scientists. Yes, okay, I have heard that. I thought it was an actual token.
Gotcha.
But okay, yeah.
Well, it is an actual token, but I think it's like the only token on Atomicals that's not a meme. And it's Rect.
Okay, got you. And that's so that you can buy the collections with Rect.
Yeah. Something
it's
like
cool. That. Yeah. So Wiz Wallet, I know, has made more capabilities of people minting on there. Atomicals is cool. I like it for the nerdy proof of work on a very technical level, but it's just not an easy ecosystem to interact with. If you want to speculate on the tokens, okay, but they need to really ship some updates. Like the fact that you can't split up Atomicals yet. I've heard that tool is ready. It just hasn't been shipped. Don't know why. I've heard other things like of going on to different chains in order to do this virtual machine. Not bullish on going on to other chains. If you want to do that, then you just build a side chain and just call it what it is. Don't I don't know. I just feel like it had its shot. It needs to deliver more, and hopefully it can battle back against Runes because it's the main competitor to Runes out of the gate. In my opinion.
Well, I mean, everyone says that's where Casey got the inspiration from, right? It kind of fell on his lap with what's the Tom? Oh wow, they're using this UTXO where the color coins, and I'm obviously Casey's familiar with color coins, right? So it's because he was from back then, right? He's an early OG, so
yeah,
he was definitely around.
Nothing new under the sun, right? These are all just new interpretations of old ideas.
Yep, exactly. But they're taking the old ideas and they're making something from it, right? Before everyone kind of was like, oh, we know what this is cool, but we'll go to Ethereum. And now it's like, yeah, let's bring it all back to the rock, right? Let's try to get everything was really cool.
Definitely.
So let's just scan through here and get some of these questions. Here we go. How do I get my BTC funds from a Uniset to EVM? Been trying all day. Messen.fi, right? Oh no.
Yeah.
I guess you just go to merlinchain.io, right?
Yeah, I think you'd have to go on Merlin Chain. Like, so if you're just trying to get Bitcoin into Ethereum, obviously like centralized exchanges, I don't know, your parameters, do your own research. But if you're talking like Merlin Chain specific, yeah, that could be a method where you use the bridge, onboard it, and then come off of Mason.fi and get it to your MetaMask wallet. I don't know if you're asking like because of the particle network issue too. Some people have been sending their Merlin Chain funds, which they connect to a Unisat wallet to get those funds on Merlin Chain, then shipping it over to like their MetaMask extension. Something you could even try is to move your seed phrase from your Unisat wallet into an OKX wallet. And I've seen OKX
Oh
wallet have a
yeah.
lot better success, and you're still on Bitcoin, right? So that might be a workaround too. Just not sure exactly, what you're getting at with that question. Could
I
be a
didn't even
few
think
things.
about that. That's actually a really good idea. You
Hmm.
move to OKX because it's the same thing. When you first
Yep.
said it, I was like, moving it to a MetaMask wouldn't work, but it would work with
Well,
OKX
and you could
because
do
it's
the
just
same thing with
Bitcoin.
your MetaMask too, right? Because it's a multi-chain wallet. So you could bring your seed phrase from your MetaMask and move it over to OKX. So I kind of started doing this with Unisat. So I have all of my seed phrases in a Unisat extension because with some sites, especially in Asia, they don't use Xverse, they don't use this. It's only Unisat, whatever. So it just made trading a lot easier. But I've been
Yeah.
noticing, like, if you use an OKX wallet with Merlin chain, B squared, even I found a wallet that has like $40 in Pancake Swap that I can't even find. It tells you like every single thing that is on that wallet, period, anywhere that it interacts with at least. So that's a pretty cool
Oh
feature, I
wow,
think. I've
that is
heard
awesome.
Rabby wallet, RABBY, is similar too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's another question. What's up? Who got their Merlin swap IDO done this morning? Did you participate?
I did not. I'm just gonna take my drop. Yep. I've kind of I did the MNER token with
Yeah,
the minerals. I did a little bit more with that, even with all the FUD and all the hubbub. I threw a little bit more at it. I just have a couple staked and threw, what I was comfortable with losing in there. But that was probably the last token I'll play outside of airdrops. I've been on there since day one, interacting. So I feel like I should get some allotment from being in the seal, from interacting with the website, et cetera, however they
yeah,
do their down. And I've pretty much at Mineral was like, okay, I think this is the last one I'm gonna IDO into, et cetera. I'm just going to use my activity, my sweat equity, probably the rest of the way out. And I'm honestly thinking about taking a piece off of Merlin Swap just to lock up some initial and a little bit of gains.
yeah. Especially because it might be get real busy around rune season, with a lot of
Fees
people
go up.
exiting as well.
Yeah. And luckily, shout out to Mr. J and Unicross again. Like I got one of those seals, so honestly, that kind of put me in the green right away. I'm not planning on selling it. The one reason I might sell it is to go to Hong Kong, and I'm just like really up in the air on that. But yeah, my buddies for poker got back to me finally. So yeah, we're going to be in Vegas, and they wanted to get a nicer place. So I'm kind of debating on maybe not going to Hong Kong just because I'm spending
We're
a
we're
little bit
going to
more
Hong
there.
Kong.
Yeah, I heard
Me,
you guys say
me,
that. I
Yagobi,
really
and
want to go.
yeah. I've never been out of the country. I actually had to go get a passport for the
Me,
first
bro,
time.
do
I
it.
had no idea. So, so that's
Honestly, I
gonna be a good
want to
time.
take the family because like I just don't want to go there for a
Yeah,
long weekend. Like it's like if I'm gonna go halfway around the world, flying a plane for a day both ways, like
yeah,
I want to go for 2 weeks or whatever. So
yeah.
that's like really the biggest part for me.
I want to meet Jeff. I
I
feel like
agree.
meeting him and
Mr. J,
meeting his
anybody.
team, Mr. J
Yeah.
as well too. Like I
Going
feel
to
like
Hong
and
Kong, that's enough of a draw for
Nakib.
me. I mean,
How
Nikki,
amazing would it be to see little Nakib running around?
yeah, yeah,
Shout out
all of them, dude.
Nakib.
It's gonna be a blast. Yeah.
So and I hear good things about Asian parties, so I am
Yeah.
down.
No, for sure. It'll be a last minute decision. And it's just like my wife's amazing. Shout out to her. She lets me do all my
Yeah,
nonsense. And shout out to Web3 women out there dealing with us being crazy.
I know.
I
You
really
know,
want to do it. And it's just like a personal thing. Like I feel bad almost doing it.
yep. I was telling my wife, I was like, "Yeah, Hong Kong, and then Amsterdam," and then she's like,
When's
"Where the
Amsterdam?
hell did this?" Amsterdam is in September. It is
Oh, okay.
Ordinal Amsterdam. It's
Okay.
so I'm definitely
Repeat
thinking
of
about
last
that. If
year.
you're
Okay.
interested.
Yeah. It's a Bitcoin magazine one, right?
Yeah.
It's like the
No, I think it's
European
Ordinal
one, or maybe
Centric.
not.
I don't.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you might be right. Actually, it might be. It might
Okay.
be. Yeah, yeah. I think you are right. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
That one's more
Because
likely because I could easily talk the wife and the family going to Europe.
yeah. What about Nashville? You go to Nashville?
Nashville for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'll get an
Okay.
Airbnb, and I'll if my wife wants to. She a lot of times goes to visit her dad around that time, so it just depends.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. And hold on, let me see what we got here. Look for questions. Look, we gotta
Just a
look for
wave. Yeah.
questions. Come on, questions. Yagobi usually handles this part. Now I understand his
Okay.
pain when he
You
goes,
got them
"Hold on,
queued up.
hold
Yeah. Right. Where are they?
on."
Yeah, I can't even see them.
What are the benefits of the OG pass? I'm new here. What do you think the benefits of the OG pass
Yeah,
are?
I
25?
could tell you. Yeah, thank you very much. I was able to get one. Appreciate that, and I actually purchased a second one. So yeah,
Ooh,
we were able to get a Verithium mine airdrop to us. So shout out to
yeah,
that. Shout out to Eric and the team over there building Verithium mines. It sounds like they're going to be a DEX, I believe, with some integration to Merlin and everything. I know you guys have ties there, so I don't want to get in too much, but yeah, bullish on that.
It's
I was able to mint some, still holding my bags. I think I sold like a handful that night, got on free, and then just been holding it. So for sure, bullish on Eric, Orb Revolution
yeah.
team and everybody building over there.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's
we're
a
advisors on the project, and my biggest contribution is, hey guys, let's burn. So I'll let you guys head over from there.
You're
So
the DeFi dude, yeah, man. You know the Ponzi-nomics better than anybody. So cook it
I
up.
do.
But
Yeah, man, we're gonna
yeah,
send that shit to the moon. But that is not financial advice.
cool.
Do not buy them
Not
because
financial advice. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just
we got
love it.
Ra.
Love. Shout out Ra. Yeah, shout out to you. Thanks. Always in the DMs asking questions. Sometimes get a little spicy, but always appreciate you being around, Ra. GM.
uh, and we got Jay makes you bullish on the entire space. That's the reason why I had him on the show, because sometimes I feel I'm not bullish enough, and I gotta bring Jay on
Uh,
to help me with that.
Cheers,
What
Ryda.
else are
Yeah,
you?
I missed out meeting him at ETH Denver. Met him at Bitcoin Miami last year. Good dude, working with Bison Labs. So really interested to see what they're working on. I believe Ordinal Hive has been working with them a lot. So yeah,
Yeah,
should see
shout out
something
Ordinal
out of
Hive.
them soon.
Yeah, Ordinal Hive is awesome. I can't wait for Bison Labs. I mean, we were the first people to interview Jay
Mhm.
Lee, and then they hit us up and they said, can you take the video down, because
Mm.
Jay doesn't want to show his face no more for whatever reason. The Chinese are very they don't like to really show their face with with American authorities and stuff, which is understandable. But it definitely
Mhm.
hurt us a little bit when they asked us to take our videos down, but we did.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we got the
Shout
man,
out
the
one
myth,
and
legend
two.
here, your
Bitmap
co-host,
Daddy.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Bitmap Daddy. I love that. All right, let's see what else. See if I missed in
One
here.
and two always bring in the good questions.
Here we go. This may be something for you. Do you follow Rootstock chain and what they're doing with Bob? B-O-B.
I've heard of Rootstock, but I wouldn't say follow, and I've definitely heard of BOB, but not following a lot. I've been looking into them a little bit more recently, and there's been more players kind of jumping on my radar. So for the longest while, I'd say like the last quarter roughly, it's been B squared and Merlin. Looking forward to B squared launching their main net and stuff, but they've had a lot of test net things that I've interacted with. So obviously Merlin's a live net, and it's just been sucking up basically all my time doing that kind of stuff. So now that they've calmed down a little bit, I'm starting to look into these next ones, like Babylon Chain is one that's been mentioned, BOB building on Bitcoin, the upgrade for stacks that I'm looking forward to seeing that go live. So it's just really tough to focus on all of these, but a great way to just like hit them up in their timeline. You'd be surprised at how often even a DM will get responded to by some of these projects. I'm sure Shizzy can attribute to that. I'm sure he's been hitting up people in the DMs for the last year, and that's how you've gotten most of these people on your show.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of what you do. I mean, like obviously now it's a little different. People kind of reach out to us because
Hmm.
we made our name. But we're talking June, July. It was kind of like cold calling, man. It was just like, hey, you
Yep.
guys come on the show, and no one would get back to us. And it's funny sometimes I'll get people in my DMs now like, oh crap, dude, I didn't even notice you hit me up back then. And it's because they're
Yeah.
reaching out, to us now before the other way around. And I was like, well, you ignored me
Yeah.
back then. Now we hot
Yeah.
now, and y'all want us. But no,
A
I'm
little
joking,
bit of
but
grace, dude. Everybody's DMs is a hot mess. You know what I mean? Like, uh,
yeah.
we're all in Web3 because we're not the most organized, we're not the most corporate friendly. So I try to remember that. Like, shout out
Yeah.
to everybody that is willing to spend time here. To Ordinal Support Desk, you and Yagobi, right? Like, you guys do this as a hobby. Obviously, you see it can turn into more. You are trading and making money at it
Yeah.
or whatever. But like, we do this because it's fun, because we make it
Yep.
fun. So if we can keep doing that and turn it into more, that's the dream, right? That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, we're all chasing. That's the one thing here. We're all chasing the same dream, right? Financial freedom,
Mhm.
being able to wake up and be like, what do I want to do today? Not on the
Yeah,
other hand, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do to provide my family? What do I need to do to make sure my kids eat? We're
yeah,
all chasing that, where we don't have to worry about that, where we just use a credit card and it doesn't matter how much we spend and stuff like that, because it's going to get paid, and you're not worrying about your next bill or your next meal or anything. You're just kind of just waking up and actually living, getting out of the rat race, trying to succeed, trying to create generational wealth. And we joke around and we say, I want grandkids remember our name, but we do. We want
hmm,
to take what our parents built and take it to the next step. And for me, I was at the
for
gutter,
sure.
so it's pretty easy to do that. But I
Hey,
want to
man.
take that to the next level.
Yeah. Well, and I know you've had aspirations of doing other stuff. So yeah, if you ever need a ghostwriter or anything, just let me know. But more props to you and everybody else that's done it. We all have our different stories. And like I said, shout out to my wife, family, mom, dad, everybody,
Yeah.
grandma, grandpa, everybody has gotten me to this point. And I'm super fortunate. I've made some good decisions in the past. But I'm propped up by everybody else before me. So I just feel super fortunate. And that's honestly why I do give back. I'm, more than open to show anybody how to set up their node or ask like more detailed, intricate questions because I enjoy that kind of stuff. So, for me
Yeah.
tinkering on a computer, that's not me wasting my time. Even though I get frustrated with it, it's still like I know I can find a way to figure out this path. And it's fun for me. It's almost like playing a little game on top of the fact that I get to trade and earn assets. And
Yeah.
I'm even trying to take more of a note from and you and others that have like made land purchases or things like that. Because I've always kind of viewed crypto as not mine, it's my family's beyond me. So I'm actually
Yeah.
trying to like plan, okay, I'm going to take like 10% off. The Richest Man in Babylon is a book that I've read that's always impacted me in my investment
Go on.
methodology, except for in crypto, right? Pay yourself first. I've always kind of viewed crypto as not mine, but I'm even trying to maybe bend that rule. Like, I'm going to go buy the kids something special. And you,
Yeah.
when you went and bought something for your kids for Christmas, kind of sparked that in my head. I do it all the time, right? But why not like have a specific plan with trades I've won big on and just take a little
Yeah.
off the top and go have a blast with it, right? So I think just even doing that for yourself once in a while to like make it really sink in and say, I earned this, I won this is big.
Yeah, and for sure, like that was something I did. Obviously I got in crypto in August of 2020 and I made a lot of money and I didn't take anything out last time. I made a shit ton of money and I just watched it all go down. So when we all made a like an insane amount of money come December, I said not will let that happen. And I took
Mhm.
out a significant amount of money. Well, significant to me. I look back on that now and saying that's not as significant as what I've made this year so far, but significant to that point of my investing career. And that was the biggest time where I said, you know what, let's not worry
And
about
it's
anything for a
tough,
little
right?
while.
Because
So
like we see the value of Bitcoin, we view it better money
I
than
know.
fiat. Like, we battle with these long-term, angels and demons or whatever you want to call about it. But at the end of the day, like we still need sustenance. Our kids still need, the next new thing or to get some new clothes or to
Yep.
remodel your kitchen. Like, if you can get quality of life things improved in your life, small to big, take those
Yeah.
profits, cash it out to fiat and spend some money responsibly, right? Do I think you should
Yep.
go blow it all in a casino? Obviously not. And I spend a lot of time in a casino. So, be safe
Well,
out there.
100%. But the only negative to that is like if I would have just saved that money, it would be
Hmm.
double what I took out.
I
But
know. Yeah, you're looking at those MacBooks. You're like, that should be two MacBooks.
it
Yeah,
really could. It seriously because
you got
we're
to
at
sell.
30,
But right, it's
35,
profits. You
40,000.
got to sell at some point. You have to sell at
Yeah.
some point. Yeah, you
Yep.
can
Yep.
always
Yeah.
play the
Not.
what if, the number change game until you're blue in the face. And that's one thing that a lot of these day traders have really taught me is like once you're done with the trade, just move on. And it's hard, right? You're always
Yeah.
looking at it, you notice it, even if you're looking out of
Yep.
the corner of your eye. But like just teach yourself to move on.
Yep, 100%. And like a lot of things too is like obviously we talked about with the no monkey stuff. I couldn't have a moon bag, but there's other stuff where I do have a moon bag. You know what I mean? So and then that's
Mhm.
always a good idea too. It clears that FOMO for you, especially
Yep.
with stuff. But like with Bitcoin, it's like if I sell even a portion of a Bitcoin, I'm like, oh no. But like today,
Right.
I did the thing for IDO for Merlin swap, and I was
Yeah.
just like, as soon as I put the Bitcoin in there, I was like, I can't even use this Bitcoin now for 30 days because I get the ESMP token, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I could use that for other things, and so
Yeah.
it's always about that
Balancing your
Bitcoin, but hopefully
liquidity and
that's the
stuff.
nexus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
for
that's one
sure.
thing I like about Merlin too, and just et cetera with these L2s, because like I was talking about earlier, whether it's the moving out into the ocean or away from the rock analogy that we talked about,
Yep, yep,
I like it, and we're all very Bitcoin centric, so we see these assets moving away from L2 or getting locked in somebody else's wallet, et cetera. But it's also a bridge for EVM chains where they've already been doing this to use Bitcoin as the fee structure, do similar mechanisms of DeFi, gaming, et cetera, and then be a click away from L1 Bitcoin, right?
yep.
Long term, that has value versus people going on to Optimism, Arbitrum, all the things that we view as farther away. So I think that there really is a place for this, and it's kind of shifting like the EVM model back towards Bitcoin rather than away from Bitcoin.
100%. I agree. I love that. I love that. That's the reason why, you know, I was a Bitcoin maxi when I first got in, and then I looked over and saw everyone making these huge gains, and I was like, you know, I'm not making anything. Yeah, I went from 8K to 40K, but I saw some of my friends put that same 8K and it went to like 300.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
so
that's why.
Just like,
yeah, sorry, and that's why, like, even soul shitters, like, I'm not a big fan of them or anything like that, and I know you're not either. But if you're good at charts and you're good at those penny stock games and whatever, then by all means, print and bring it back to Satoshis. I'm not going to argue with that. It's just not my cup of tea. It's fair.
Yep, same here. It's not a game that I want to play. I like playing over here. If I can't get rich over here, I don't want to. That's how I feel, right?
And Merlin chain is that much different at the end of the day, right? Like it's similar.
Well,
it's got similarities. Right. Right. But like, okay, B squared, right? It's technically a polygon, et cetera, right? You know what I mean? So it's just like how you frame it, right? Do I think it's better? Could we argue about like things are better about it? Of course, right? But at the end of the day, is it Bitcoin? No, that's, you know, there is no second best. Give Sailor a shout.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Is like I feel like if I would have got into Solana early, I'd feel differently. And I feel like and I said this with Tap, and how I felt about Tap in the beginning was I felt like I got in early to something. Now I have that with Merlin. I feel like I'm there before anyone else. I'm there. I'm in Bit Smiley, or it's like because I'm staking their thing. I'm in a Merlin swap because I got in their IDO today. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get this Merlin starter airdrop because, you know, I used our launch pad today. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, I might lose on this IDO, but I potentially get the Merlin starter airdrop as well, you know. So I'm just trying to play
compounding actions.
Exactly. And I feel early, and that's the reason why people say that you're the guys, the Merlin boys, all you talk about Merlin is the biggest, you know, change in ordinals right now, right? There's nothing really going on until Runes comes out. There's nothing. Like, we do a show 5 days a week. If I wasn't talking about Merlin, what the hell is there to talk about every day? You know,
like, you can only talk about runestone so often, right? How often you get stone, etc. And there is a lot of building go around it, right? Like you're a bit mapper, right? I have a little bag of bit maps, you know. But like, honestly, the price correlation with it going up is with Merlin, you know, announcements and rat maps, right? We want to see those tokenization events, etc. Without Merlin, you know, would Bitmap be in the same place? As much as the controversy between the two. So yeah, we need people building on it. And, you know, I want more competition. I want more players. But $3 billion in assets, like 1.5 billion or plus, I think it's almost 4 now, but like 1.5 billion plus in pure Bitcoin, right? People are voting with their economic might. That's just it.
Yeah, man. All right, guys, I think that's the show. Jay, man, this was fun, dude. We gotta do this again. Or next time Yaga Week has like something going on, dude. I'm definitely gonna have you on again because this was so much fun, dude. I feel like we hit on everything. We have a bunch more topics to go on, but we're at that hour and a half mark, and I have a call at 1. But I definitely want to talk to you. Hang out for a minute after the show. I want to show you something. And for all you guys, tune us in tomorrow. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us. You guys are always here. Shout out with the super chat. Shout out with the likes. Everything, guys. You guys support us, and that's why we're doing this 5 days a week to kind of give back to you guys. So we appreciate you guys, and that's the show. See you guys.
Cheers. Honk honk.
Honk honk. Support desk.
We OG, or no OG. You're not bullish enough, oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. You're not bullish enough. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now.